Amazing. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Lovely People webinar. So tonight I have got the enormous pleasure of speaking to Megan Taylor, or Meggie Moo to her friends.
Looks like I'm now going to be forever known by this.
Absolutely. I met Megan 12 months ago in December at a retreat, I believe, and she was an absolute presence at this retreat. She had some amazing things to add, some great questions to ask, and I've watched Meg blossom and flower, and we've shared some really gorgeous conversations. I've been absolutely honoured to have lots of really great conversations with her. So I thought it would be really, really good if you guys could kind of hear a little bit about what she's up to, a little bit about what she's seen, and how she shares this understanding, because she absolutely has her own Meggie Moo way of doing it, which I know touches lots and lots of hearts. So welcome, Megan. Do you want to share a little bit about you and, you know, anything that's occurring to you in this moment?
Yeah, what's occurring is you saying my presence is code for talk far too much. Talks too much. Is there anything I would share? Yeah, it was on Rudy and Terry's retreat, wasn't it, in Somerset, that we met?
Yes.
And that was actually my first 3 principles or innate health actual event I'd ever been to. That was actually the first thing I'd ever been to. And it was amazing. It was amazing just being, I've obviously been to lots of different kind of events, conferences, trainings over the years for various different things, professional things in the veterinary industry and psychology and property and all kinds of different things. But there was something, well, as soon as I came across this understanding, and it just spoke to me in a way that was just like, this is the stuff I've always known. It just was this enormous validation that what I'd kind of always, I guess, labeled as my kind of over-optimistic hippie fairy part that just thinks everything's really okay and that everybody is essentially good and that we're all innocent and that life is amazing. That bit that I tried to kind of squash into submission because it kind of wasn't realistic or whatever, that I'd kind of carried with me all the time. I kind of realized that was my wisdom. That was me seeing what was always there. And then coming across this understanding and then my own experiences and then being at that first event, there was just something, just a different feeling, just a different feeling. And then the Life 2.0 conference, and then being at Viva and being on a retreat with Jack Prunski and going to Minneapolis and seeing Bill and Linda Pettit, all of that's happened over the last year. And as we say, it is truly in the feeling. There is a difference that stands out about this community and about this understanding and about working in this way, and the difference is most definitely in the feeling. So yeah,
I would love you to share some of the, obviously not personal stories, you know, don't share people's personal details, but I know, you know, I've heard a little bit about some of the work that you've been doing, maybe the types of people you work with and what kind of experiences. I would love you to share with us, you know, how you share with these people and who it's likely to be that you'll share with.
Okay. I've accidentally ended up screen sharing with somebody here. Let me just
yeah, how's that happened?
I don't know. That's a guy I know in Morocco that I've known for some years. I'm not sure why we're now screen sharing with Hussein, but hopefully he's there somewhere. And I can now see you. Maybe I can see you again, Deb, if you could put you back in the middle. That would be great.
I don't know how to. I thought it was only me that could do that as the host, but I don't know how. Who needs to stop? Meg. Who is it that whoever it is that screen sharing needs to stop?
La Hussein. It says you are viewing La Hussein's
screen.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Okay. Maybe message him in chat and just ask him to make his screen.
Yes, maybe
something like that. I'm not sure how he can do that. Maybe you can ask him.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe Beck or someone could message him and chat and ask him how to do that, or if he could do that, that'd be great. My computer is not with a webcam, okay, so he needs to just...
Oh, somehow or other he's pressed the screen share though. Let's do that. I deny. Manage participants. Can I get into there? How funny.
Okay, I've just said to him maybe he needs to stop the screen share, and we'll send him the recording later because he doesn't have a webcam. It's fine. Okay.
Yeah, he probably will have... there'll be a button. I can see it, but I can't, because he is the one screen sharing, I can't stop it.
There we go.
It's been stopped. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so the kind of people I've got with, it's interesting to me to kind of look back at just the last couple of years of really sharing with people in this way. And it's amazing. If I was to kind of look back at my traditional, original sort of path was in clinical psychology, which I became very disillusioned with on the basis of the kind of the framework just didn't make sense to me, and the results that were being got just felt very limited. Anyway, I came across this understanding when I'd done some training with Ali Campbell, who initially was training me in NLP, hypnotherapy, coaching, and was working from an innate health understanding, had done a lot of work with Michael Neal, but wasn't coming at this like purely from sort of leading with an understanding of innate health. He still was kind of working from a sort of technique-based approach, which can be very effective and can get results. But for me, as soon as I heard underneath what he was referring to, this idea that our subconscious is trying to keep us safe, that we're innately well, that we're whole, that we can't be damaged by our experience, that we're responding to the thought and feeling we're having in that moment. As soon as I kind of heard this, it was like bells ringing, and I was just like, you've got to tell me more. Like, what's this thing you're pointing to? Like, what do you mean this innate? I need to know, like, tell me more. And he kind of pointed me in the direction of a couple of books, Michael Neal, Inside Out Revolution, The Space Within, Mara Gleason's beautiful book, One Thought Changes Everything. And I read those, and I just had the most incredible personal awakening experiences. And then as I was sort of starting to begin setting up practice to work with people, initially sort of thinking that I may go down the line of using some of the techniques, but just once I saw this and I read those few books and I had my own just radical and immediate transformation kind of experiences, that things that had plagued me for many years, thoughts I had, feelings I had, insecurities I had, worries I had, traumas I'd had, they just no longer arrived. They just didn't appear anymore. It wasn't that I needed to have a technique or therapeutic intervention to kind of reframe that or to see life differently. It's just that literally I experienced myself, that amazing thing of healing from inside out. Like my mind went quiet, which for me is somewhat of a miracle. If my mouth goes quiet, it's a miracle, but my mind to go quiet too, it's something else. And I just saw this and I just was so struck by it and had just so much hope, so much optimism about what could be achieved. And then I kind of orientated myself in that direction, that I knew nothing. Like I had a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge and a lot of learned knowledge, a lot of techniques, toolbox, whatever from the past and from whatever. And I just knew that the power was not in what I had learned. It was in what I had seen. And it wasn't really something that I could even put into words. Like we say, it was the feeling. And so the very first client that I worked with was somebody who just, you know, when we point in the direction where we know we want to go, and it's a loving direction, life just kind of delivers. We've talked about this, haven't we? We kind of have to do 3% of the work, and then the universe sort of meets us, and it's like, oh, hello, thanks. And I got talking to someone who was talking about PTSD and about someone who'd had 30 odd years of mental health struggles anyway, anxiety and depression and various things, and who'd had a very, very tragic car accident in which someone was fatally injured. And that this person felt that this was something that they just would never, ever actually be able to recover from. That's the one thing, like being involved in someone else's death accidentally is something that's something you can't recover from. And as someone who already had a vision of themselves as already broken, already lacking, already unable to cope with stress, that felt completely beyond them. And I felt hugely drawn to just go and to be with this person, just as I was opening and reading and seeing this. And I spoke to Ali, who at that point was kind of supervising and mentoring my work, and said, Ali, I've kind of got this person who's come across my path, and I really feel like I need to go and work with them. And he was like, oh, Meg, can't you kind of go for a spider phobia or a bit of a weight loss thing or a stop smoking? And I was like, Ali, that's just not me, And I just said, look, I know I don't know anything at all. I know nothing at all. I don't know what to do, but I know what I've seen. And I know the peace and the stillness and the forgiveness that I've experienced myself. And so I kind of just literally, I had no mentors or guides or peers in this community at the time, but I just showed up. So I knew that this person was having a kind of a suicide watch type rota going on with friends and neighbors and people just kind of sitting with them until, to just kind of be there, basically. So I just showed up. I mean, that's all I could do. I just showed up and I made tea and, we'd just kind of sit there, and they would walk around and be in and out of panic attacks and flashbacks and trauma. And I don't know what it was, but I just wasn't scared. And I just knew completely. I could just look at this person and hold the space of absolute unconditional love and acceptance, and remember the parts of this person that I'd known before, and also just knowing that part of us that we're always okay underneath, and that what she was experiencing, although had been through this enormous trauma, it wasn't happening now. So I just tried to sit in that space. And then after, a few hours, few days, we had a conversation along the lines of her asking, how come you're so okay when you come here? It's like, it's really nice to see you, but you're just so light and warm and smiling, and just keep pointing me out to the birds and what's going on outside. And, everybody's leaving in tears, feeling terrible that they can't help and that they can't bear to see me in this state. And it was just that thing, I don't know where words come from, but it was along the lines of, I really can see you're suffering so much now, and I really not enjoying seeing you suffering, but I also know that what you're experiencing now is not what happened, it's your thinking now. And that I've seen this different thing, that what we're always experiencing is life through our own thought. We think we're recording what's happening to us, it's happening to us. But in actual fact, we're creating this experience from inside out with our power of thought in the moment. And I don't know, but when we speak truth lovingly, from what we're seeing in that very moment, it's like we have this truth meter. We recognize, in the same way as we can spot bullshit from 100 paces in a salesperson that's not really on our side or something like that or whatever. There was just this recognition. So we just talked and we started to have these conversations, and we had times where, we'd sit and I could just hold on. I'd just talk about what was outside. It was almost like reading a bedtime story to the children. I'd just say, listen, you're really tired. Your thinking's racing a million miles an hour. You've had no rest. Why don't we just sit together here for a minute, have a cuddle on the sofa and have a cup of tea, and let me tell you what's going on in my head. Let your thinking just go quiet for a minute. Let's just talk about what's going on outside. Let's look at the garden. Let's see. And then I'd kind of just use a bit of metaphor, just like, just that these buds, the tree looks kind of like nothing's going on. like it's hibernating, it's closed, there's no life in it, it's feeling in this dormant state. And yet inside this tree, it's got literally everything it needs. And in a few months' time, it's going to be blossoming, and then there'll be fruit. We'd look at, the sky. Be kids, basically. Sit in the garden and look at the sky and say, we look at these clouds, and when we look at them, it's like they get really, like they've got lots of meaning. And I don't know, I can see a unicorn, and I can see a bird, I can see a dragon. What can you see? And we'd kind of look. And I'd say the harder we look for meaning in these clouds, the more real they become, to the point they can be really quite frightening, these things. But actually, when we really look at them, it's just water vapor. It's nothing. It's just stuff appearing in the sky. And that's exactly what our thinking is. Like, some thoughts come and they feel really scary and meaningful, and oh my God, this is a suicide thought. This is a serious one. I've really got to take this seriously. And yet it's the same fleeting, weightless, pointless, meaningless energy as the one that just says, is that a mouse on the floor? Oh no, it's a sock, It's that they can't hurt us. And so we just had this talk, just used to talk about this kind of thing. And then at one point we had a discussion. We'd walk the dog, we'd do whatever, we'd just sit and chat and have tea. And at one point, and things just started to kind of quieten, and there were more and more periods of space and connection where, things were just more and more normal and okay. And then we had a conversation about innocence, and that now is about now, the power of now, that now is all we've got. Whatever's gone is gone. And whatever's to come, we don't know yet. Here is the only place we can be. So we can just be here. And then had one of those, this was, for me, such a gift, because it was essentially the first person I'd ever tried to share this with. And I had no clue what I was doing at all. And that was brilliant, because it freed me, because I just knew I had no bloody clue at all. I literally had no idea what to say or do. I had no idea. I had no technique, had no questions. I had literally nothing I knew what to do. So all I could do was know that I know nothing, and just remember back to my own profound insights and moments of seeing it, and then just stay in that space and just see what came. And there was just a moment where we were having a conversation, and then we just sat quietly, and she just sat and closed her eyes. And it was just one of those things that you just never forget. Literally, sunlight came through the window. We'd been having this discussion about innocence, about forgiveness, about life just unfolding. Just had a moment, just sunshine and just peacefulness. And then this little smile came across her face, and I just knew in that moment she'd seen something, and she just immediately, sorry, I'm expecting emotion, but just this moment of her just seeing her own innocence, and just that we've only got now. And it was just like this miraculously beautiful moment, and some tears, and then a discussion like, how can I, when nothing's changed, like this has happened, and I have had a breakdown, and I haven't been at work, and I have had everything that's come as a result of this, and yet I'm sat here and I feel new. She said, I feel like I'm like a little child. I feel okay. Like I feel love for myself, I feel forgiveness, and I feel clarity, and I feel peace, and I feel this enormous gratitude that I'm actually okay. And I can just look at it, it's like everything's just got brighter. I'm okay, I'm still okay. And it was just the most beautiful moment. And actually every most beautiful moment I've ever had doing this work, I suppose it's called, has been when I'm completely out of my depth, totally out of my depth. I absolutely know. Doesn't matter how many years of anything, any qualification, any certificate, any years in a psychiatric hospital, either visiting or working with kids, or whatever it is, the magic happens when I know, oh crap, like, Meg, you're completely out of your depth here. You have no idea what you're doing. But I just know, what I've seen on that really deeply personal level, that impersonal truth that's true for every single person. And then I'm able to just get out the way and like hand it over basically. And just the feeling I have is just connection with that person, just seeing namaste, that part of you that's the same as me. And just like, feels to me like that moment of when you look at a newborn baby, or you watch an egg hatch or something like that, and it's just like, you know nothing about who this is going to be. You can have all the ideas in the world, but it's just infinite potential. It's just, you no idea. It's just like, oh my God, what? And you just kind of fall in love and then just watch this kind of thing unfold, knowing that within that little thing, whether it's a seed that you plant or an egg that hatches or a bud on a tree or a human being that at that moment is convinced that they are utterly broken and, you know, they have a million labels for themselves, that they've had these things for these many years and been on all these drugs and on all these hospitals. And for me, it's like, it's almost like laying a gauntlet to the universe. It's just like, I know nothing here. Like, I'm completely out of my depth, except the thing I really know. And it's something that I will never, ever unsee when you see it. Sometimes I forget it's true for me, and sometimes I forget it's true for people. And sometimes I think I'm going to have to do this for them. Oh my God, what can I say? How can I help? But when I get out the way and just sit back in kind of awe and wonder and gratitude and just this knowing of this infinite potential and the perfection and the power of just love, just sit back and just go, just watch this person just discover. It's just like, wow. And so, yeah, they're the best times when you know nothing at all. Then magic happens. That's it. So that was my first client. So that was quite good. But then after that, then there's the panic, isn't there? Because you think, oh my God, what's that? And then, of course, everyone's like, I can't believe what you've done with this person. And she's so amazing. She's back at work. She's so healthy. And then you think, oh my God, did I do that? What if I can't do it again? It's like writing a decent book, isn't it? What if the next thing you write's a bloody shopping list and no one wants to read it, you know? So then there's that pressure, and then your ego gets in the way, and then you construct it into something that I did. And then, of course, you'll never do that again, because it was never you in the first place. It wasn't even them. Anyway. But I've been blessed to go on and have more of those experiences, including one of my dearest friends who, 22 years of addiction, diagnosed with everything from personality disorder to, her diary's like a DSM-5, basically. And I'd supported her through the normal system for getting into rehab and watched her repeatedly come out and try to kill herself again and again and again. And eventually, after a final suicide attempt, after leaving rehab, I just knew that I just again spoke to the person who was giving me supervision at the time and just said, I feel like the only thing I've got to lose right now is my best friend. So I've got to do something. And I just went and I just told her what I could see. And 3 days later, she stopped drinking, and she's now 18 months completely sober and clean and healthy and just amazing, really. So I've been really blessed to watch people unfold and to have the honor of bearing witness to that happening. So, yeah. And there's lots of others. So everything from PTSD to personality disorder to schizophrenia to rapid cycling bipolar, substance use, alcohol, chronic self-harm, people who've got diagnosis of being on the autistic spectrum. The youngest person I've worked with was 4, and the oldest person was 84. Yeah, it's been a gift.
You are a gift.
Yeah. Only when I'm the present one. That's it, when I'm present. Otherwise, I'm a complete nightmare most of the time. But when we get out the way, I mean, when our personal thinking gets out of the way, something wonderful does happen.
Something magical, yeah.
Yeah, and I would say, and yet I still myself get caught up. You and I spoke a couple of hours ago, Debra, didn't we? And it was like, I was saying, I'm not fit. She was like, oh, you're going to be great. I was thinking, I'm not feeling very great. You have no idea the day I've had. And I'm thinking, why am I don't know anything. Why am I talking about this? So, the same for us all.
It is, yeah. We all get caught in those times, don't we? We
Yeah.
all get caught in those moments. And we have those truly magical moments when we see something, or when somebody sat with us or in front of us sees something, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely magical to see that. I think.
And I think it's really important to keep looking, you know, for yourself, not searching, but that thing of remembering that those things that happen where, you know, you have kind of someone just have them. I mean, I had someone who's very, very dear to me that works for me. Her mother had a nervous breakdown while she was approaching the start of bone marrow transplant, and through the period she actually, they stopped the transplant that she'd been waiting a year lined up for, because she had a complete, in their words, a complete nervous breakdown, psychiatric breakdown, couldn't find words or anything. And we spent a day together. And again, that's another one. I had literally no idea. I knew I didn't know anything, but I'd come back from Viva and I'd spent time, I'd listened to Maureen York, who really inspired me. That's you, Mrs.
Very inspiring lady.
And I just kind of knew what was possible. And I kind of, the same thing again, just did whatever came to me. Just, you know, sometimes it's a hug, sometimes it's a bacon sandwich, sometimes it's playing with the dog. You know, it's not even talking, sometimes it's just listening, isn't it? It's just, anyway, the same thing again, in a most amazing, spontaneous shift. She slept for 2 or 3 days after we saw each other, and then on the 4th day rang the hospital and said, 4th day she asked to go out, ask her husband to drive her to a river. She said, I need to see Flo. And she just sat and looked at the river for an hour, and then she said, now I need a cream tea. So then she had a cream tea. and then the next day she rang the hospital and said, I'm ready, I want you to reassess me, I want my transplant, I'm ready now. And they saw her 2 days later, and she's now had her transplant. She's having it. She's right now having it. And just the same thing, she was saying, I can't do this, Meg. I can't do this. I'm not strong enough. For saying, this is the bit where there's nothing for you to do. You know, the doctors have got the plan. Your donor's lined up. Your place is booked. Your body has done its best it possibly can with all the treatment that it's had. Now there's nothing for you to do. And even if you just, like, almost hibernate, like just drop down into that deeper place, and just know you don't know, and that you can't do this. This is not for you to do. And I think when we remember that ourselves, it's amazing. I've had so many times, I'm a busy head person, try and do a million things. I think, right, I've got to sort this out. How can I do it? And it's then, oh yeah, I don't have to do it. I just have to remind myself to sit down and shut up and look at the sky and just kind of wait, and just know that you don't know. Whatever the thinking was that caused this current thing that looks like a massive problem you've got to solve, that isn't going to get you out of here, basically. You know, that's what got you into this moment. And so that's not where the answer is going to be. So just allow myself to do the same thing for myself that I would for someone else. Just like, know that I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. But I know a little bit about how it works sometimes, and then just let go, just go outside, just whatever, you know, just come back to the moment, taste, enjoy your chocolate that you shouldn't be eating, don't have any guilt, or cuddle a dog, or do something you want to do, just do whatever comes to you that you want to do. And then in that space, when you get out the way, then sometimes an answer will come fully formed, sometimes it won't, but at least you're not still suffering with the beating yourself around the head with the frying pan thing, are you? So yeah.
That is lovely. Shall we just see if anyone has got any questions or any comments or anything anyone would like to jump in with before we continue, just in case anyone has got, you know, so if anyone would like to you know, say anything, ask a question, speak to Megan at all, you are feel free to unmute yourself, or if you have got your video on, wave your hand around. Hello, hang on. Oops, what have I done? Pressed the wrong button now. I think, yeah. You should be unmuted, Julie.
Hello, it's me. Hello.
Hello, Julie.
Megan, my lovely Megan.
Hello.
You brought me to tears, you monkey.
Sorry.
You have to speak more loudly, Ju. We can't.
I said I said, you brought me to tears. I just want
I
to
don't
say,
mean to make people cry. It's not on purpose.
you're just absolutely awe-inspiring. I think that was just, I saw your innocence, your beauty, your inner light. Not did I only see it, but I felt it. I can feel it now. And I saw you at that retreat, and yeah, you asked some really poignant questions, which reverberated around the room, and it's like Deb said, you're just absolutely blossom. I think you're just amazing. I love it, and I just knew it was going to be like this tonight. And yeah, just that really. Thank you very much for showing up. Brilliant.
Hello, Kira.
Thank you, Julie. Hi, Kira.
Hello.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you. It was really lovely. So has anyone else got any questions that they would like to ask, or would anyone else like to make a comment or anything? Either unmute yourself or wave your hands around and join in this conversation.
Can I ask something if no one else has got a question now? Can you tell us a bit more about the retreat that you're going to be doing? Because Kira's going to come to it.
Oh, yeah.
Is she vegetarian?
And she's going to come back and see me for a little while, which I'm really looking forward to. And I'm going to come and join you guys on the Sunday, Monday, because I've got my little girl's birthday party on the Saturday, so I've got to be there. And the Friday is her birthday. So, but on the Sunday, Monday, I'm going to be with you. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, maybe.
Okay, well, yeah, we are having a retreat on the 14th, 15th,
15th to the 18th.
15th to the 18th of February, something like that. Yeah, just round here where we live in this beautiful part of Devon. And Meg is going to be joining us on the Sunday, and she might be sharing. So if anybody is watching this and would like to meet Meg in the flesh, actually have the full Meg treatment, which is, it's amazing to be in her presence.
I can make you cry too.
Yeah, Meg can make you cry too. Then yeah, please come and join us at the retreat if you'd like to. And Kira, yeah, you're going to be joining us, so it's going to be really, really, the retreats are amazing. I love retreats, and me and Meg met at a retreat, and there is something incredibly special about spending 2 or 3 days like that, just being immersed in this space. Those things that Megan was talking about, the way that we get out of the way and our mind does that. There's something magical happens when you just spend some time in this space and just allow yourself to get out of the way and realize, yeah, you're quite right, Megan. We know nothing, but there is something amazing about human beings. There's something amazing about us. And
we were actually talking about this earlier, weren't we, Deb? I think that's quite an important thing to talk about, is kind of having come from that more traditional background where it's all about, you have this kind of professional relationship with someone, and you're particularly kind of around my thing obviously was more clinical before, so it's very kind of boundaried, and it's a set time and a set place and a set thing, and as the practitioner you share nothing at all about your own thoughts, feelings, ideas, experience, history, life, anything at all, really. Really kind of take yourself out of the way, but even emotionally take yourself away. There's kind of like a sterility to it. And when you come to share this understanding, or whatever we're talking about, hang out and talk about life is what I like to call it. But that's the danger, and I guess that would be where I see that I've struggled or not done the best I could, or you always do your best, but just it's like that idea that you've got to teach someone something, and there are these sort of central pillars of understanding which are really life-changing when you get your head around them, like the idea of, or you see them for yourself, like the fact that the way we're creating our experience, that kind of thing. But often there's an idea, because we have all these traditional reference points, that it's got to be teaching a course to someone, or like a therapy session, or kind of I've been to things recently where it's one person talking for 5 or 6 hours, sharing with everyone else, and there's questions and things like that. But I really feel like just being together and when you relax, and particularly like when you're laughing, you're open, aren't you? You know, some of our, and even sometimes you kind of, something comes and it's a joke, it's like a silly play on words in the moment. I remember having some funny ones with Lucy when we were in Spain. And they say there's never such truth as, you know, whatever that phrase is, something about never such a true word as said in jest. Because when you're open, it kind of like, where does humour come from? You don't sit and think of a joke, do you? It just bounces out of you, doesn't it? You know, it just appears. And in those moments, amazing things can happen. And so, saying that I've really changed the way I've worked. I do have time when I'm just with one person and it's peaceful. We might be in a room or we might be outside. But that thing of just hanging out as a gang, you know, and I know when I sent lovely Martin Charlton Bennett came to your first retreat that I saw, and I said, I think you'll love it. And for him, he talked so much about when you, especially turning up at something, you don't know anyone, and it's like, it's a spiritual retreat. Oh my God, how terrifying is that? You know, what will they be doing? You know, walking around and, I mean, you just can have all kinds of ideas, can't you, about that? But, or worse still, it's something to do with your psychology and your mental health or your feelings. Well, I mean, that's another thing where people feel really exposed. But actually, the idea, the way you guys do your retreats, and the way we kind of mucked in a bit with Rudy and Terry's, when you all meet each other as just as on a level, totally on a level, like we're washing up, we're peeling spuds, we're Katie's always up, things like that. But when you're just hanging out together, walking a dog, talking rubbish, playing the guitar in the woods, doing whatever you're doing, that's when quietness comes. That's when answers come. And that's when you just realise there's actually nothing to do to sometimes feel better, except instead of having this, we've had this additive model, haven't we? If I write my gratitude journal and get an early night and study the 3 principles and do whatever, eventually I'll feel okay. But the truth is subtractive. It's like, you are so okay. You've no idea how okay you are. Like, underneath what you're doing or thinking or saying or feeling at the moment, whatever's coming at the moment that's taking you into a place of not okay, under that, you're already totally fine, whole, and completely okay. Most of you is completely unbreakable. It's like the operating system on an iPhone, isn't it? You can download any crappy app you like, but if you reset the factory settings, it still works. And that's how we are. And sometimes just that thing of just like, stop chewing the cud, stop looking at it, just go outside and just slow down and just be in your life instead of being in your thoughts. And immediately you just see that each of us, even in our mad moments where it feels like we're really stuck and caught up, if we just know that we don't need to do anything to get out of that, we just need to stop doing stuff to keep it going. We just need to just stop for a minute. And it's very simple, isn't it? Just we stop. And that snow glow settles. And then that nicer feeling comes again. It's like, oh, wow. And it's a lot simpler than we think. It's like so much simpler. So yeah, that idea of just hanging out together, washing up, peeling spuds.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're looking forward to that, because there'll be that sort of thing definitely goes on at our retreats. We do.
Darling, I don't peel spuds. I just talk. No, I'm joking. No, I will peel spuds. Yeah.
Should be too late. It's coming Sunday.
Oh,
yeah.
right. We have a question, I think. Emma, shall I unmute you? Hang on a moment. So, Emma, I've unmuted you. If you would like to ask a question, that would be lovely.
Yeah, hi guys. Well, I met Meg on the iHeart training.
Yeah, how are you, honey? Okay.
Hello, darling. I would put my video on, but I've been crying. You've made me cry.
I think she's made us all cry, Emma.
I know, and I look like
I do
crap,
like to see you. Even if you're rocking like an Amy Winehouse kind of a thing going on.
But I just wanted to ask you, Meg, actually, to pick your brains a bit. I've got someone who next week I started doing work for Young Devon.
Cool.
And which is really cool. And I've just read through, actually, as we were speaking, the sort of report, and she's only 11, this young girl, and obviously is struggling and, you know, got a lot of sort of things going on. And I just wanted to know, how do you present yourself with like under 12-year-olds, you know what I mean, like young, you know, how do you present yourself? I mean, I totally get, you know, you show up and you know, resonate and you know, connect and all that, but
you're a mum, aren't you? You're a mum and you've got 3 kiddos and you've got...
I'm not a very good mum though.
Well, rubbish, nonsense. There's no such
But you
thing.
know what I'm saying? How do you sort of like, you know, because I've got a lot of sort of thinking about it, you know, and I know it is thought. And
Yeah,
I know
let that go. That's the first thing, let that go. Honestly, as I was saying before, really like gloves off. Let go of the idea of there's something I've got to do to make this little person feel better. I need to present or show up in a particular way. Show up as Emma, because you're amazing. And be your lovely, giggly, funny self, because that's what I do. Like yesterday, I was working with this young guy who I've had an amazing few months with, because he's on the spectrum, severe suicidal ideation for many months, under the care of all the child and adult mental health things. And with him, again, the same thing. I just knew I had no idea what to do. I literally had no idea. But I just knew that everywhere he was going, everyone was looking at him, looking at what's wrong. Look at what's wrong, what's different, what's not right, trying to work out what's this problem about. And I just thought, he's got enough of that going on. I need to know, my job is to show up and know that he's already okay. Now, really interesting, very challenging for me because, as you know, I'm an animal mad type of a person. And I thought, okay, he's on the spectrum. Maybe we could do something with animals, talk about animals. I hate dogs, hate donkeys, bitten by a dog, don't like any of that, frightened, don't let it anywhere near me, basically. To the point I have to kind of keep everything away so that he didn't get near anyone. So that was kind of challenging. For me, this was huge. Life gives us what we need, but I didn't believe in the idea of love. Thinks there's no point to life. There's no meaning. Just like the most cynical, negative kind of approach you could have. So I just kind of looked at this and I just tried not to think and tried to just show up and look with this eyes of kind of curiosity and knowing we are love, whether we believe it exists or not. The only thing, there's love and there's fear. And fear kind of takes us away from our natural state. My thing was just hang out, have a laugh. Even for me, we've even poked fun at like the other kind of the system that he's dealing with and kind of meet him where he was, you know, kind of like we've had this amazing kind of cheeky banter type of a thing, just sit and hang out. No, I just wouldn't take him too seriously. Whatever you're saying, not invalidating anything he's saying, but just like, I'm not going to be afraid of the things that you're saying because it's so obvious you're saying them to get a reaction. And so we'll just hang out and have a laugh. Yeah, just thinking, yeah, so in the end, we did go outside. We went and walked and, because he didn't want to speak, I'd say, I don't want to speak to you with your bloody mind games. I said, that's all right. I'm not that wild about speaking to you today. You don't look like you're in the best of moods. So should we go and walk the dog instead? So we go and walk the dog or sit outside or just joke, banter. And then I met him where he was. Now, in this particular case, his thing that he really, really loves is video games, computer video games, subatomic Russian weapons. Not been a big interest of mine over the years, I must admit. But we had a deal where basically I said, look, let's meet each other halfway. It's only fair that if you're going to give me your time and you'll sit and hang out and not do anything horrible to me and we'll just at least listen to each other, let's swap. You tell me what you like and then I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm interested in and then we'll swap. So we literally did that. So with this, I'd give him I'd find a little clip, a video, like a Michael Neal, 5 minutes about, I don't know, why aren't we awesomer? Things like that, something like that. Or some of the iHeart videos. We've got some great iHeart material. Use some of that, sometimes talked about some of that. And then in exchange, I would have to really, really listen and say, look, you don't have to believe this. I'm not trying to convince you. These might be my hippie friends talking rubbish. That's fine. But you got to just listen enough that I know you've understood. So at the end, you can tell me what they were saying, what rubbish they were talking about. And then after that, then you can make me do something about your gaming. So I'm really now very adept at all of the spec of lots of Russian submarine, sub-aqua weaponry. But in exchange, he's learned that he's feeling his thinking, and that we've even done things like illusions where I can show him beyond all doubt that perception is flawed. You know, the checkerboard thing with the shadow, and that you might think you can see how it is and that everybody else is talking rubbish. Let me show you. Our brain plays tricks on us, and our state is dependent on what we're thinking or how we're thinking about work. So we just hung out and we literally did that. So I would say don't have an agenda. I know it sounds strange in terms of you've got this remit from young Devon to work with this little young girl, but the first thing is that she has already everything she needs inside her. She just
exactly.
to hang out with her, holding a space of absolute unconditional love and acceptance with a light heart and a knowing yourself that she's okay and that her nature is taking care of everything already. The fact that she's in front of you, nature's doing its magic. She's going to get to hang out with you, Em. She's going to have a great time. Just play. Don't have an agenda. Just love her, but without even love just as a state of being, not having to demonstrate in any way. I just think just hanging out, being light, and just being with her with no agenda. Don't try and get through the lesson plans or do anything in particular. Ask her. What does she want to do? How does she want to spend her time?
Yeah, and I have told my manager, you know, that I am going to just be present with her. Do you know what I mean? Irrespective of what I've got to be ticking on boxes, I am going to just be present and just see what comes up. Do you know what I mean?
Amazing. You're going to be amazing. And that's it. Just be playful, be silly like you can with your niece or nephew or your own kids on a good mummy day when you're not feeling like being grumpy mummy.
Yeah.
But,
thank you. Thanks, Megs. Love you. Thank you.
And I was going to say, remember you went in Spain with us, but when I was in Spain, I had a whole lot of thinking about this client I've just been talking about, because just as I was going away, I heard that the CAMS team had said they would not work anymore at that time because their psychologists were becoming very distressed by the sessions. Forensic and clinical, and they were saying that there was all this discussion about things he was going to do that was going to be their fault, things like that, you know. And I had this whole thing of, oh my God, the last time I spent time with him, we were sat in a field balancing bits of carrot on our heads like this, trying to see if we could get a wild, blinking, uncastrated, mad donkey foal to come and eat carrots off the top of our heads. Like, what am I doing? Oh my God. You know, they won't work with him because of whatever, they think he's not able to engage therapeutically at the moment, whatever's going on. I literally had a lot of panic about it and some tears. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done about my dad? And then when I really looked at it, I thought, Meg, this is so nonsense. This is your ego talking, thinking that you're going to do anything at all, good or bad, with this poor thing. You're just sitting in a field having a laugh. And I knew when I was there that I was totally present. And actually the 4 hours a week that we'd been spending together, I looked at it and I thought, be honest, Meg, those are the best 4 hours of your week. You get to play with the donkey, run around in a field, throw sticks in a river, giggle, play video games, talk rubbish. It's the other 40 hours a week that I was spending on my own, thinking about it, thinking, oh my God, what if I'm not enough? What if he does something and hurts himself? What if I've said the wrong thing? What if, you know, and all this thinking, that was hell. But the actual time I was with him was total bliss. It was brilliant. And I thought, actually, I need to learn something here. I know what I'm doing is fine, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't do it. In that moment, just sitting there, just being able to be fully with someone and someone be with you who can be loving, light-hearted, who actually isn't even scared about what's going on for you. That was so amazing. And it was those things that made this profound shift. For once, there was someone there who wasn't going, oh God, and worrying and watching everything and looking for problems and looking for difference. There was someone there who wasn't even really going to buy into any of the stuff that was going to be said that might be sort of scary or whatever. I was just having fun. And then so were they. And then it was like, actually, I don't need to take life so seriously. And actually, I want to go here. This is a laugh, you know. This is the one time of the week. I don't have to tell my story to everybody or show them how distressed I am or how different I am. I can just sit here in a field, and even if she doesn't talk to me for 5 minutes and I don't talk to her, it's fine. And that was what was so amazing. And I think it's just really trust your insight, your knowing, trust your own nature and her own nature, and they're exactly the same. And just do whatever makes it feel comfortable for you and her. Just like chill, smile, make cupcakes, draw a picture, have a laugh, do whatever. Just ask her what she's interested in. Just being fully seen by someone who looks at you. I have this sort of experience over and over, like when you work with somebody and you kind of just, try to have no idea about them, because they're going to tell you all of their thinking, their construction of, I'm this kind of person that this has happened to, and I'm this stupid or this clever or this damaged or this diagnosis. And they're going to basically spend a lot of their time trying to tell you all of that. The main thing is to not let you listen to a bloody bar of it. Don't get caught in the story, because it's that stuff that's got them here not happy with who they are. So just kind of looking to that. For me, I just like let it kind of wash over me, almost like listening to music, listen to the feeling of it. And then just kind of looking like literally like that hatchling thing, or the seed coming up that you've forgotten what you've planted and you're thinking, what was this again? You know, is it an oak? Is it an apple? Is it illegal? What is this thing? You know, just kind of watch and wait, you know. And that's exactly the kind of thing to have, not to try and get to understand how anyone else has seen her or even how she sees herself. Just meet her in that moment, just light-hearted. Just if you don't talk about anything to do with anything except whether she likes watching on YouTube, she'll share more just by there being no agenda to fix her. Someone knowing that she's not broken and just being with her. And just an hour of like, you know, in the same way all of us mums were talking about how we, you know, doing our best but we're not good enough. That time when you finally say, right, I need a break, and you go out and you have a night with your girlfriends, or you have an hour in the bath, or you go and sit in the garden, or you walk around shopping, or you do something, read Heat magazine, something completely and utterly mindless, that you just get out of the way, and then suddenly you realise, God, I'm all right. I'm actually okay. I'm not losing my mind. I'm okay. I'm not going to sell my children on eBay, and I can go back, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing them. And so you can give her that experience of time out, just like, come and hang out, play with Emma, and just whatever that is. And just, we know the the psychological immune system, their healing power that each of us have is new thought, brand new thought in the moment. When we let go of all the stuff we're clinging on to and let that go, then in that space that comes, it's like you wipe this whiteboard of all the rubbish they've been listening to, saying over and over again for themselves for ages. And then you've just literally got like a blank piece of paper, haven't you? Or a bit of space, or a fresh bit of soil you can plant in. And then in that space, she'll have her own insight. So if you just create the space of knowing she's perfectly, beautifully, wonderfully okay, and just fall in love with her, who she is, let her unfold in front of you, and just be you, Em. You're so gorgeous, honey. You're so gorgeous. Those conversations you and me had on that train back from London those days, I remember them to this day. You've got everything you need, and so she, honey, totally. Have a laugh. Use it as a time off from your kids.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That made total sense, and all the added stuff I've got thinking about it, like you say, like, you know, the deadlines and what I should be doing. It's just, you know, I've got to just go back to basics, really. You know,
and trust what you know.
Yeah.
Because all of those other things, you know, she's probably been exposed to all those things at some point, and she's here where she is now. So just know what you know and look after you. Just be really okay. And that, for me, I tell you, the very best, most miraculous, incredible moments of my career, or whatever you call it, in this little journey, have been when I know I'm completely out of my depth. I haven't got a bloody clue. But I know that, and I'm okay with that. and I'm not going to feel bad about it. I'm just going to remember what I truly know, that we all have everything we need inside us. We all have the capacity to see what we need to see. New thought comes, we're whole, life's amazing, and we are taken care of. And it's in just knowing that and hanging out and just thinking, I don't need to know what to do. It'll come to you, Em. It's going to be brilliant.
Thank you, Meg. That was just amazing. That has been, I cannot believe where the time has gone. That has just literally flown tonight. I always love talking with you. It's always a pleasure and always great. So thank you so much. That was just...
Thank you very much for being so kind and listening to me talk rubbish and waffle on. And
we love you, Meg.
Some of it made some sense to somebody.
It's gorgeous. And I mean, the biggest thing to me in that message was, know that the person you're with is whole and complete, and know that you're whole and complete too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing that you need to have that you haven't got.
And when we hang out in that space, magic happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And we all
the
have...
The softer you are, the wiser you are. That's what I find.
And we all have our moments when our thinking kicks in and we get into overdrive. And but no. So thank you so much. So who is our guest next week?
Sam Munslow.
Oh, we have the awesome, amazing Sam Munslow next week. I know we were going to have a little bit of a chat about parenting, Meg, but we never got that far tonight. But I know Sam Munslow...
It's all the same, isn't it? We're all kids. We're all...
Absolutely. We kind of did talk about the whole kids thing, didn't we?
Yeah,
so Sam Munslow is a parenting coach. So I know she's got a couple of...
nearly as crazy as Meg.
Yeah, she is nearly as crazy as you, Meg. She is a very beautiful, gorgeous, crazy lady. I love having crazy people on my webinars. It's amazing.
It make you feel normal, that's why.
Yeah, this is what I do. Surround myself with crazy people so I feel normal.
I'll actually give you this little story. So yesterday I was hanging out in my session with this teen client, and we're talking about this big assessment that's been done into exactly what disorder and blah blah blah, and joking and saying, he's like, I'm okay with being quirky. He said, you're bloody mad, aren't you? And you're all right, people like you. That was his one thing. And I said, so after this 2 hours of assessment or whatever, all this different thing, what did you kind of summarize? What did you think? And he says, yeah, a psychologist, bless him, he says, definitely on the spectrum. About the guy assessing him. I just thought it was so funny. Labels are for Charles, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so Emma got cut off for a second there, but she's managed to join us to say goodbye. So it was lovely. Your question was great, Emma, and it was really
thank you.
Thanks. We'll speak soon anyway. I'm going to talk about iHeart and kids and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll catch up with you. I'll listen to the replay for the answer. I got
no, you're not there. Oh God.
No, she heard a lot of it.
Right. Well, we can speak soon. Okay, take it easy. Thanks so much. Thank you. Thank you,
everybody, for joining us tonight. And hopefully we will see some of you again next week when we have the lovely Sam Munslow. And if anyone wants to join us on the retreat, then please, send me a message and I will send you the details. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So cool. I will just, if I can do this, unmute everybody so that we can all say good night. I think everybody...
I think Lucy Lou lying down there on the sofa chilling.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it unmute? Yeah, I think everybody is unmuted. So if you want to say goodbye, it's been
Bye.
Lovely to see you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Hope to see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.